Akbar and Birbal are greedy. Birbal was Emperor Akbar's favorite. However, Akbar always looked for some way to try and outwit his clever minister. One day he got another chance. There was a grand feast organized by Akbar. People from all over the kingdom, including all his courtiers, were invited to enjoy the celebrations. During dinner, Birbal sat next to Akbar. As they enjoyed the delicious dishes specially prepared for the night, Birbal entertained Akbar with his witty stories. Soon after dinner, the best fruits were served. Both Akbar and Birbal chose big bowls of dates and happily ate them. As they continued to eat the fine dates, they slowly began throwing the seeds of the fruit below their chairs. Soon there was a rather large pile of seeds under their seats. Akbar decided that this was an opportunity to play a trick on Birbal. Using his foot, he quietly pushed his own pile of seeds under Birbal's chair. Now the place near his feet was empty. Birbal was so busy talking and laughing that he didn't notice anything at all. This filled Akbar with even more glee, and he couldn't wait to trap Birbal. Pretending to be surprised, Akbar loudly said, "Oh my, Birbal, how greedy you have been even after eating such a huge dinner! Look at the large pile of date seeds under your chair." All those sitting around, too, heard Akbar's remark. Everyone remained silent as they waited for his reply. They wondered if Birbal would be able to save himself this time. Birbal realized right away that this was Akbar's joke, for he had himself noticed the seeds under the emperor's seat. But he couldn't be fooled so easily. Birbal smiled and slyly said, "Jahanpana, yes, I have eaten a lot, but I at least left the seeds. You have been so greedy that you've eaten up all the seeds too." For a moment, Akbar was annoyed that his trick had failed, but he saw that once again Birbal had come up with a clever answer. "Birbal, you have helped me enjoy myself today," he said, and began to laugh out loud. The Persian minister's test. People all around the world had heard tales about the 9 jewels in Emperor Akbar's court. The emperor in faraway Persia too had heard these stories of their talent and wisdom. The Persian emperor wanted to see for himself if this was true. So he sent his wisest minister to India to test Birbal and all the other ministers in the Indian emperor's court. In Akbar's court, the minister said, "Your Majesty, I have one request. We in Persia have heard a lot about the wisdom of your ministers. I would like to test their intelligence." Akbar readily agreed. He continued, "I want to ask you all just one question. How many turns are there in the roads of Agra? You must give me the answer by tomorrow morning." All the ministers were puzzled. "Agra is such a big city. How can we count the number of turns in each road and each street?" they all thought to themselves as they scratched their heads in wonder. Akbar was worried. He didn't want to look like a fool before the famous Emperor of Persia. He called some soldiers and ordered, "Gather some men and start counting the numbers of turns at once." But where was Birbal? Well, Birbal had gone to the neighboring city on business and was to return only late in the evening. "Maybe he'll be able to help us," hoped all the courtiers. When Birbal returned that evening, Akbar immediately told him about the problem. Birbal listened carefully and was deep in thought. Finally, he smiled and said, "Don't worry. I will have the answer ready by tomorrow morning. Please tell our soldiers to stop counting the turns now." The next day, their guest returned. "So can anybody tell me how many turns there are on the roads of Agra?" he asked. Birbal stood up and replied, "2." Everybody looked at Birbal in surprise. "What? Are there only 2 turns in Agra?" asked the Persian minister. "Yes," replied Birbal, "left turn and right turn." The whole court, including Akbar and the Persian minister, burst out laughing at this clever answer. The minister said, "Emperor Akbar, I now agree that your ministers, especially Birbal, are the wisest in the world." The price of a sweet smell. In Emperor Akbar's kingdom lived a man named Dhyanchand. He had a very famous sweet shop in the market. One afternoon, a poor man named Gopu sat outside the sweet shop. "Those sweets smell wonderful," he said to himself. But unfortunately, he had no money to buy any sweets. He opened his own lunchbox and began to eat his simple food. But Gopu enjoyed the mouth-watering smell of the sweets so much that even his dry lunch tasted much better. "My lunch was much tastier today because I am sitting here," he thought. He began to go to the shop every day to eat his lunch and take in the lovely smell. Dhyanchand soon noticed this man and understood what he was doing. In anger, he yelled, "How dare you enjoy the smell of my sweets without paying for them? Give me my money now!" "What? Do you want me to pay for smelling your sweets?" Gopu asked in surprise. Cunning Dhyanchand replied, "Yes, I make the sweets with my hard work. You have been sitting here for many days enjoying them. Now pay." "But I have no money," exclaimed Gopu. "Then come with me to the court," said Dhyanchand. And they both went to meet Akbar. In court, Akbar and Birbal listened to the two men as they argued. Everybody was interested in this strange case. Birbal thought carefully and said to Gopu, "Dhyanchand is right. The sweets are his, so you must pay him for enjoying the delicious smell." He gave Gopu a coin and said to him, "Here, take this coin and keep it under Dhyanchand's nose. The smell of the money is enough payment for the smell of sweets." Everybody in the court burst out laughing at Birbal's answer. Dhyanchand felt ashamed to have brought such a silly problem before Akbar, and he pleaded for forgiveness. As for Gopu, Birbal gave him the coin and told him to go buy sweets for himself. He went away a very happy man. The problem of the mango tree. Charan and Mahesh were two citizens in Emperor Akbar's kingdom. They were neighbors, but they used to always fight over the smallest of things. Once, they began arguing over a mango tree that was between their houses. Each claimed that the tree was his. Finally, they took their troubles to Emperor Akbar. However, even after listening to both men, neither Akbar nor Birbal was able to say who owned the tree. So Birbal said, "You both may go back home now. I need to think this over." Soon after the men left, Birbal called his servant and ordered, "Go to Charan and Mahesh and tell them that the thieves are stealing mangoes from the tree." The servant obeyed immediately. As soon as Charan heard the news, he said, "Oh, thieves are always stealing from the tree. I will deal with them later. I'm busy now." On the other hand, when Mahesh heard the servant, he quickly grabbed a stick and ran to chase away the thieves. The servant returned to Birbal and reported exactly what had happened. Birbal looked thoughtful. "I will meet both the men again tomorrow," he said. The next day, Charan and Mahesh returned to court. Birbal said to them, "I cannot decide whose tree it is. I think the tree should be cut. The wood from the tree can be equally shared by both of you." Charan looked pleased. He thought of all the money he could earn from selling the wood. "Yes, that is the only thing left to do now," he agreed. Mahesh looked horrified. "No! Please don't cut the tree," he pleaded. "I have looked after that tree for so many years." He continued, "I cannot see it being chopped down. I don't want the tree. Please give it to Charan." Birbal now knew for sure that Mahesh was the real owner of the tree. The court, including Akbar, was impressed with the clever way in which Birbal had solved the problem. The Sparrows of Agra. Birbal was one of the gems in Emperor Akbar's court. He used his wit to help others, and his fame had spread far and wide. Yet, there were many who were jealous of him. Chand was one such man. He saw how much Akbar liked Birbal, and he thought, "I am more learned than anybody in the kingdom. I should be given Birbal's place." Chand decided that he would ask Birbal a very difficult question. When he fails to answer it, he will have to resign, and I will become Akbar's favorite, he thought, laughing to himself. He went to Akbar's court and challenged Birbal. "Birbal," he called, "can you tell me how many sparrows there are in Agra? You must give me the exact number." Everybody in the court, including Akbar, was puzzled. How can anybody count the number of sparrows? They wondered. However, Birbal wasn't worried at all. He calmly replied, "Give me time till tomorrow. In the morning, I will definitely give you the answer." The next day, everyone had gathered in the court to hear Birbal's answer. Akbar asked, "Well, Birbal, can you tell us the number of sparrows in Agra?" Birbal smiled as he said, "There are exactly 19,537 sparrows. You can count for yourself and check." Chand knew he could never count all the sparrows, and he refused to believe him. "How can you say that?" he demanded. "There may be more or less." "No, there are exactly 19,537 sparrows," said Birbal. He continued, "If there are less, it means that sparrows from the city have left to visit other places." Akbar smiled. "And what if there are more sparrows?" he asked. "Oh, "Those are the sparrows from different cities that have come to visit their relatives here," Birbal replied immediately. The whole court laughed at Birbal's clever answer. Chand had to accept defeat and agree that Birbal was indeed the wisest man in the kingdom.